Welcome to the Panic Button. I'm Nina.
I'm Jessie.
Today we're reacting to Mr. Menno. Top surgery for 12-year-olds? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Huh? Emoji?
The amputation of both breasts is known as a bilateral or double mastectomy and is normally a procedure for women who have breast cancer or who are at an extremely high risk of developing breast cancer. For most, it's a highly traumatic procedure that leaves deep psychological as well as physical scars. For a number of years now, these irreversible surgeries have been glorified as a way for stressed out girls with severe mental health problems to find their authentic self. Double mastectomy or breast amputation doesn't sound all too sexy, especially when you're tired.
I feel like I'm watching some dark Illuminati creepy pasta stuff.
It's sad and scary to see how many women and young girls have had that procedure done.
They're always talking about erasing trans people, but if they're saying that that stuff's not happening, then that's erasing trans people. It's not happening, so those little girls who got that done don't exist.
Well, they're very aggressive.
Who's aggressive?
The people who are really for transitioning. Because they're really against detransitioning for a lot of the situations. Because when you're transitioning, you're amazing, stunning, and brave, beautiful. But once you want to continue to be the person you were born as, then all of a sudden you're going against the group, and now we need to exile you. Because you're one of them. You're against us now, even though they just don't feel comfortable.
Okay, I have a question for you. Out of all the things that we've seen on people pushing kids to transition, what biological sex is the majority of the group pushing it?
I think it is equal on both sides, actually. Because I see so many, I don't use TikTok a lot anymore, but there's a lot of creators when I do go on. There's a lot of creators that were just lesbians that are now identifying as trans men or non-binary, but there's a few of them that yeeted the TDs. Yeetus the teetus, you know. But I think it's equally affecting both sides. I think women are more apt to act on it because women are more likely to have a physical procedure to correct something they don't like, whereas men usually don't. So I think that's the difference. I think men play dress up more, and women get more medical procedures to look better. Women are more concerned with looks, men are more concerned about feel, things like
Girls
that.
who are getting this top surgery that are just lesbians, they are ruining their future lesbian sex life.
Well, a lot of these people are ruining their entire adult sex life because they're 12 and 13-year-olds going on puberty blockers.
So the term used these days is
top surgery
or the teat jeet. One Irish surgeon calls her team the D-Titty Committee, calls herself a tit wizard.
Yo, this is like you're memeing a super disgusting, predatory, invasive procedure for children.
I'm a little less concerned.
You're like joking about it, making it like socially acceptably popular.
I'm less concerned because imagine the lawsuits she'll get once this is all settled. And all these pictures, all those claims and broadcasting it on social media. Yeah, I don't think she's going to have a great result after everything clears up. I'm sure she'll be on a list of doctors that won't be able to practice anymore.
Dude, when these kids become of legal age and they do something illegal, are they going to male prison?
If their identity on their license says male,
Then they go to male prison.
wouldn't they?
They would. You know, they never really think farther ahead in the future. Like, I'm going to transition to a male, and if I get arrested, I'm going to be thrown into male prison. Is that really something I want? I mean, if this is something that you're cool with, then hey, more power to you.
But most
You
women
know.
don't want to do that, even if they want to be
Right.
men.
And a lot of people aren't going to do stuff that's illegal. But in the off chance,
I heard you. Yeah.
you know?
And here is a surgeon all smiles as he poses with buckets of removed breasts. Sounds like a real savory business, doesn't it? But hey, it's legal. Welcome to the Wild West of
gender affirming
surgery. How do we know that 13-year-olds are having these double mastectomies? Here is a paper written by Johanna Olson Kennedy, among others, who is the medical director at the Los Angeles Children's Hospital in California. Johanna is not a surgeon herself, but she is the one referring these girls for these surgeries. This paper is from 2018. It is a medical paper, but it doesn't use the words amputation.
The blind faith people have. Like, this lady is trying to make more money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she pretends and talks about how she's doing it because she cares. But if you're getting a lot of money for it, I'm very suspicious if you actually do care because you have a very big incentive.
It's
and
true
the fact that
intention
most,
behind, yeah.
And the fact that a lot of these people who are getting these surgeries aren't taking that into consideration, that they're probably being manipulated by the media when they're so gung-ho against media manipulation.
Would you be thinking like that? Well, you're 13. Do you think that you're being manipulated by the media, or do you think I feel this way? Because you're fucking 13.
When I was 13, we didn't have 24-hour news cycles, and we did not have social media.
No, but you had magazines, and you had beauty standards, didn't you?
Dude, social media has completely changed everything.
I understand. I'm just saying, at 13, did you not have celebrities that you set a beauty standard with?
Yeah.
It's the same thing, just amped up to 11. I'm saying, at 13, would you have known that you were being manipulated? Or would you have thought that this is how you really feel because you're a kid still?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Exactly. That's why this is really unfair.
Wait, isn't this why we have adults in the room?
And this is why this is such a big deal.
Isn't this why children shouldn't consent?
Yes, exactly. And you were like, when I was 13, no! You wouldn't have known. You wouldn't have been like, I'm my own independent self. Because, like, 1 out of every 100 fucking 13-year-olds does that. Every other 13-year-old is like, how do I blend in? How do I fit in? How do I get cool? How do people like me? That's what every other 13-year-old is thinking.
Touche.
Or double mastectomy at all. Instead, it uses chest reconstruction. So even in a medical setting, they're trying to get away from the reality of what is happening. The paper is a strategic move by Olson Kennedy to argue that slicing off the perfectly healthy breast from these young girls works wonders for them, and that age should never be a restricting factor in them being able to get these types of surgeries. In the States, there is no minimum age for these double mastectomies for gender-affirming purposes. And Johanna is arguing that that is a good thing and using her study to make that case. This has nothing to do with human rights or with patient care. This is just about market development. How can you increase the size of your potential customers? It's business. The paper presents...
And the same people that are going, yes, kids should transition, are the same people that are totally against Big Pharma. Isn't it bonkers? The cognitive dissonance is alive and well.
It's alive! It's alive!
I'm about to go off on my rant about vapes because you know I hate it.
I know.
And I'm sorry, you can skip ahead if you don't want to hear about vapes. If you hate them, I get it. But we could just put the timestamp in the bottom of when I'm fucking done talking about it.
Go ahead.
And anyway, they have banned the sale of nicotine to you from the internet because kids have a potential of doing it. They have banned any flavored vape in New York State because your kid has a chance of getting to it. If you can't even get a nicotine buzz, maybe you should keep all your organs where they are.
The findings of a study with 2 different groups of girls. Group 1, girls who were desperate to have their breasts removed. Group 2, girls who are desperate to have their breasts removed and are still waiting for their surgery. Guess which group came out as feeling happier? From this table, we can see that the youngest girls in the study who had their breasts sliced off were 13. There were 2 of them. So, there you go. Don't tell me this isn't happening. It's right there in black and white. I'll link to the study in the video description. We can also see that there were 5 girls who were only 14, 9 girls who were only 15, so in total, 16 girls under the age of 16 in this particular study. The paper was published in 2018, so I'm sure you can imagine that a few more breasts have been chopped off since. Also in 2018, in May, our Irish tit wizard claimed that she had performed 250 double mastectomies!
500 boobs do not fit in those two buckets. Or do they? Were those two buckets 500 boobs?
If you melt them down.
I don't like this at all.
Full disclosure, in our patients, about 250 mastectomies. Out of those two,
I love the Irish music in the background. I like to take them titties. Those titties I like to take. I like to put them in the bucket and make them into a cake.
out of those 250, we've had 2 nipples that didn't take.
She doesn't shy away from performing these double mastectomies on minors.
The nipples didn't take.
Wait till the one guy starts talking about the shapes.
Oh no.
In fact, she seems to be arguing the case that the younger the better. In a conversation this week that I had with a woman who thinks that she's a bloke, she had this procedure as an adult. She was unaware that 13-year-olds are getting their breasts sliced off in the name of gender. When I first pointed it out, she denied it. When I showed her the report, she didn't read it properly and still denied it. When I finally said, look at the graph, she said, okay, that's too young. So this is from a person who has had the procedure herself as an adult. So then I asked, if that's too young, then what's gone wrong for these 13-year-olds to have had these procedures? Who is accountable here? Who should have been stopped? At what point? Other people have said to me, oh, well, but it's just in the States. Yeah, so what? Lots of things begin in the States and then find their way over here. Other people argue, oh, well, they must have had a real thorough psychological evaluation. Yet no. We know that in the States they've been pushing this affirmation-only model for years. In a recent research study by Lisa Littman with 100 detransitioners, 55% of them said they weren't evaluated properly. Again, this is not about human rights. This is not about care for patients or individuals. It's market development. Money, 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 money. The girls dealing with all this distress, they need support. They need help. There are many complex psychological reasons that are underpinning them wanting to have their breasts removed. They need proper support. Now, in the words of Aretha, I ain't no psychiatrist, I ain't no doctor with degrees. But it don't take too much high IQ to see that the last thing you'd recommend to someone suffering from severe psychological distress, and who is 13, is irreversible major surgery. It is nuts. Then I heard people say that girls as young as...
There was a pile of cut off boobs.
We got nuts in the freezer, titties in a bucket. Ew.
Oh.
Bucket.
That girls as young as 12 were having their breasts amputated. 12? So I said, okay, show me the evidence. Here is a clip filmed at the Gender Spectrum Conference, specifically at the Professionals Symposium, where Kellen Lockhart, who is a gender specialist, although I would say professional groomer would be more apt, admitting that at Kaiser Permanente Oakland Medical Center, they have performed double mastectomies.
Kind of reminded me of the mom in the TED TV show, because she's like, Kaiser Permanente.
You shouldn't have to tell people that you're Indian.
Indian.
A girl as young as 12.
In terms of masculinizing top surgery, I think 12 is the youngest who's had surgery through our program. I think 12 is the youngest.
And look at the others, nodding like it's a wonderful thing.
12 is the youngest.
There's something definitely mentally and seriously wrong with these surgeons. And that just increases the risk factor to 1,000, because you have mentally ill people doing surgeries
Catering the mentally
on
ill.
mentally ill people.
The lunatics are running the asylum.
Yeah, but they closed down all the asylums. Now they're running free. And they're not getting any mental health help. They're cutting their boobs off. And they're inverting their penis. Their peni.
Program.
We're led to believe that this person is male, but I have my suspicion that this is a female on testosterone. There were 7 speakers on...
No. Really? We don't have a lot of short kings running around for nothing.
Four of them work in children's hospitals. One of them was Diane Ehrensaft, who is that crazy woman who thinks that if a toddler plays with their onesie in a certain way, that they're really sickling to you, that they're transgender, and they'd rather have a spinning dress. These people are mad, but they're also running these services. Runner-up! In Canada, surgeon Marc Duperret at his Visage clinic in Toronto is happy to perform a double mastectomy on a 14-year-old girl, as long as the child is firm about her decision to transition. Please note the word child. So, there you have it. What about the UK?
This surgeon just wants to touch little girls' boobs. He wants to touch them and then keep them. Touch them, take them, and keep them. Disturbing.
So, there you have it. What about the UK? An article published in The Times last September showed that 51 teenagers aged 16 and 17 have been referred for gender-affirming double mastectomies in Scotland. What does WPATH have to say about this? The World Professional Association for Transgender Health. This is their Standards of Care document, version 7, published in 2012.
I identify as weighing 120 pounds. I need my surgeon to affirm my identity by cutting off my arm. It just sounds bonkers when you put it into a different perspective.
Why would you do that when liposuction exists?
Why would you try to fix the brain by fucking with your body?
I know.
8 will be published spring 2022. This document uses the rather vague term chest surgery, although in other places it does mention mastectomy, but tries to reposition it as male chest contouring. Okay, so for genital surgery, they're saying that shouldn't be carried out until a patient reaches the legal age of majority. The legal age of majority differs per country, but that's basically when the law considers you to be an adult, which in the UK is 18. For double mastectomies, they're happy for that to be younger, and they're kind of saying, okay, preferably after ample time of living in the desired gender role, as in acting out sexist stereotypes, and after 1 year of testosterone treatment. However, in their criteria for a mastectomy, they make it clear that hormone therapy is not a prerequisite. They go even further when they say, however, different approaches may be more suitable depending on an adolescent's specific situation. They're basically saying, just take it on a case-by-case basis, just as Johanna Olsen-Kennedy and South Gallagher have been saying, because that way you can justify performing a double mastectomy for gender affirmation reasons on a 12-year-old.
Any closing thoughts? The fact that they're performing these surgeries that young should be startling. And so every time they're like, they're not giving gender-affirming surgeries to minors, it's not happening. It is happening. It's happening like crazy.
I agree. Like and subscribe to our channel. Comment below if you have any questions or if you have a recommendation for something that we should react to. You could be a member or hit a super thanks.
Email us, thepanicbuttonpodcast@gmail.com.